the back, the VOD and the silver screen. Kevin and Tom and Joe know all there is to know, from masterpieces to deep fried tacos. And if the movie sucks, you might hear them say, there's no telling where the guys will take you. Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, cause we already warned you. Better watch out, it's gonna ruin the plot. Real spoilers. Real spoilers. Real spoilers.
Broadcasting from the lush but not lavish studios located in the basement of the O'Keefe Institute for Advanced Film Snarkitude, this is Real Spoilers, episode 829? Is that...
Put in the title of the recording for you.
Oh,
Top
is it?
left
Oh,
corner.
look at that, yeah. Wolf Face.
Wolf Cop. It's a different movie.
Wolf
altogether.
face? Was it really a wolf face? I don't know about that.
Said the
man.
face of the wolf right in the opening
did.
credits. So
It did.
He's Wolf Face now.
Oh, I guess you can call it whatever you want. But
So I guess let's go around the virtual table and everyone can say who they are.
This is Joe.
this is Kevin.
It's me, Matt.
And this is Tom. So before we dig into the movie du jour, shameless plugs. Don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast. You can find us while you're there. Be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. That's super helpful, and it would be fun for you, I think. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Real Spoilers. While you're there, like the page, join the group. It's called the League of Show Sharers because we are hoping you will share an episode. People who were kind enough to share an episode last week include Librarian Cynthia, Travis Tewitt, Tammy Lynn Powers Betts, Chris Magic Man Julianne, Jordan Tom Dowdy, Gabriel Lugo, Richard Krotzer, Chris Falls, Taylor Ward, Heather Sachs, the Kryptonian Orphan, Matt Naglia, Jonathan Jordan, Edit Photo Gamer, Ken Holtzhauser, Mike and Oscar, Ronnie Castle, Ryan Terry, In Session Film, Geek to Me Radio, and Nostalgia Cast. So thank you very much for helping us out. We really appreciate that. You can
Was that really Jonathan Jordan or was it Julianne Jordan?
no, there's a Jonathan Jordan and a Julianne Jordan.
Is there a Jonathan?
Yeah,
That's a new one.
If you,
Are they married?
If you heard me stumble over it, that's why I was like, did I type the wrong first name? But apparently there is more than one person with the last name Jordan.
I like it.
Yeah.
Everybody hopefully is sharing with their family, maybe
That's
over the
good.
Christmas holiday.
Yeah, she
Everyone's
finally
passing along the podcast.
She
plan.
finally wore him down and got him to listen to an episode.
10 years into the show.
Yeah. Also, don't forget we have a Patreon, patreon.com/Real Spoilers, where for $5 a month you get bonus content and we like you extra. And then finally, there's a YouTube where you can see the hotel room that I'm in. It's very exciting.
Yeah, be careful with that bed behind you there,
Yes. I have to sit just right so you can't see Crystal.
bud. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, she was.
Okay, all right.
It just things just
Is this
got
a Patreon
things
episode?
just got sexy.
Got a little spicy.
So anyway, there's all that. Let's dig into Wolfface.
I love this movie.
Love.
Yeah,
Love.
I was a
Interesting.
big fan.
Wow.
I was.
This must not be opposite day.
No, I. So the Wolfman is like my favorite Universal monster because I think it's the most fun. And I think we've talked about. I think all of. Did we talk about Upgrade? I don't think that
No,
we
we
did.
didn't.
I don't think we covered it. No.
But we did do the Invisible Man,
Yes.
and we all thought that was
great.
incredible.
Oh, Invisible Man is so good. The writing, everything about it, the
Yeah.
performances. It is such a good take to take the original premise and twist it and modernize it. And I think that's why this movie is so disappointing because
Oh, see, I go ahead.
I think
but
well, I hear that, but this movie had so much potential. Seeing what he did with Invisible Man, and I think this is the first time that I've really noticed a Blumhouse movie, the budget, because I feel like this
Interesting.
movie is so constrained by the budget. It's so small. It's on such a small scale. The practical effects, I think, are clearly like this movie doesn't have a huge budget. Like all the budget went to those few things that, like, yeah, it's gnarly and bloody. Like there's a few little things that are cool, but the whole Wolfman, there being no transformation, it basically being a zombie movie where he's just turning into like a zombie
It's
instead
The
of actually
Fly.
transforming.
It's
But-
it's The Fly. I mean, granted, they
But
don't
this whole
have.
movie's $25 million for a universal picture, universal classic monster reboot. Like this could have been so much bigger, but they're so constrained, I think, by the budget.
But I think that is the common misconception about the Wolfman. The Wolfman is not about the kills or the changing or anything like that. Now, an American
About
Werewolf
the
in
friends
London
we
or The
find along
Howling-
the way.
That's exactly right.
In
But
the original, is he only the Wolfman for 6 hours, or is that new in this?
So the Wolfman, it is triggered by the moon, right? So it's the 1931 Wolfman, I think, takes place over like 2 or 3 days.
Because it's a metaphor for
Right.
the menstrual cycle.
It's exactly what it is.
Hey, why isn't it the womenstrual cycle? You
Because
know?
men created the word.
Damn.
Yeah, that's
Makes
why.
me sick.
Who's the real monster, Matt?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's the real men?
But this, I think the writing's bad. I think the characters are bland. I think the performances are bad. I could not care less about what happened to these people. I think
completely did. It is
I-
wild how much I disagree with you.
awful. They're
Can I
awful.
then? Okay,
Can I break the
just
tie?
to get. Oh yeah.
I'm right in the middle on this movie. It was fine.
This happens to us all the time.
Yeah, it was fine. But normally I'm the one that hates it. But I was like, it's not anywhere as good as Invisible Man, and it's absolutely disappointing based on how good that movie was.
Man,
But I
do
was
see
like
that too.
reasonably entertained. I don't envision ever watching it again. It was fine. Like Invisible Man, I would absolutely watch again.
I thought it was a snooze. I thought the writing was so bad. These characters are so unlikable.
Kevin,
like,
I disagree. I
Kevin,
totally
you're
disagree.
telling me, and this is middle of the movie. Sorry to jump ahead. He fights that other Wolfman. We see that tattoo and realize it's his dad. You weren't just freaking out, throwing popcorn. No,
first,
what?
again,
I was trying to
it's-
figure out who it was the whole movie.
It's okay. This movie is Jaws if the characters in Jaws were uninteresting and bad. Okay? Jaws works because Brody and Quint and Hooper are so entertaining and likable, and the writing is so good. You don't have to
Okay,
see the
you're
shark.
also comparing like peak Spielberg.
Okay, but I don't care.
to,
This
like, you-
movie is clearly doing the same thing with the Wolfman. They are hiding it because one, they don't have the budget. This is a $25 million movie, which is, I think, ridiculous to throw out a Universal monster reboot they're trying to do. So they're hiding it.
I don't understand how $25 million isn't enough to throw some Wolfman makeup on a dude. Like that's not groundbreaking technology. We're not asking them
Right,
to make
but-
a space
I think what
movie.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so $25 million, but in today's age with travel and paying the actors something,
only had to
and
go to one
renting a
place.
house and right,
Yeah.
right. But I mean, but $25 million doesn't do what it used to, and so it's like they clearly went so basic on the transformation because it's not really much of a transformation. And I just think a Wolfman. Joe, you say it's not about the whatever.
It's not.
I
So
think, but Joe, we've seen incredible Wolfman makeup in American Werewolf and in London, and
But
we've
that's not the
seen-
Wolfman. Those are werewolves.
I know, but I'm just saying, like when you see a horror movie with a person that's turning into a wolf, they at least have some hair on their body, right? It's not like a zombie decomposing type thing, and it just I don't know.
I think though, right? Like, okay, let's just say they decided to do a different. Well, it's not called Wolfman, right? It's called Gross Guy, and it's about a guy gets bit by a different gross guy, and now he's gross.
Yeah.
It's still like just kind of wasn't very good.
No, it's
I
not
think
good.
I think my enjoyment of watching the movie was kind of like, ooh, okay, well, once he gets out of here, and then it sort of just never like. I had
Dude,
fun watching it, thinking it was gonna get to the thing.
I think
Yeah,
the idea that the mom and daughter are stuck in this house with the husband and the dad who is slowly changing and they can't. None of them have any idea what's going on, so they're stuck in here. They're trying to save their dad, but the dad/husband.
God,
is
Julia
beyond-
Gardner's performance. Would you seriously? Your husband, you're trying to protect your daughter, and your husband's turning into something that's like this killer creature. It's creepy. She just hardly even. It's like is acting at all. She's just like looking without. Like a blank expression.
She's a
could
cold
she not put
businesswoman.
any emotion into
I-
my husband's transforming and got to protect my daughter?
I
Like,
took
it's-
that as like she was shut down. Like she's shutting her emotions down because she has to.
Well, also she doesn't really know that he's turning into a Wolfman. Like she's
Yeah,
she's
she
trying.
thinks he's sick.
Yeah, she thinks he's sick,
Okay.
and he's also not on a blind rampage, right? Like as he transforms, like he's not just like I'm gonna kill both of you. I thought it was gonna be they're trapped in the house with him going after them
Yeah.
for 90 minutes, and that's not really what's happening. I think I don't think the Wolfman appearance is budget related at all. I think that's a choice they made. I mean, they made Invisible.
I think it absolutely.
They
is
made
Lacey
Invisible Man for $7 million. This costs
You can do that with an invisible man. You
but
can
here's
do
the
that
thing.
on a budget.
This is
Invisible Man
Kevin,
looked
I don't
great.
disagree. I don't disagree with what you're saying. Is we've had
Hang on, real quick. If you
People
remember, the
do-
Invisible Man wasn't like that. You did get creature design there because he had that suit that body suit that lit up with the different hexagons. Like there were absolutely effects in the Invisible Man, and I think they were trying to make a Wolfman that looked like it could exist in the real world. Now, I think that was a mistake. Like I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have given
Joe.
people a Wolfman, but I
Right,
don't think
but
it was
my
about the
point-
money. I think they made a bad choice.
Okay, well that's fair. But so given that, okay, if you are locked in you have your daughter who you are obviously you're going to fight tooth and nail and do anything to protect your kids, and your significant other is in the corner biting and chewing their arm off. Are you going to not like close the door and lock them in? Or are you going to just
So
stand there
I
and
think
then
it
be like,
depends.
"Oh, honey,"
I think
it's crazy.
Sure,
That's
because
insane.
if we're putting me in that situation, yeah, I'm gonna have a different reaction
Because he's a
than
gun
a
owner.
person who has never. Yeah, right. Than
Yeah,
a person
but-
who has are you telling me that if we'll say Katie just starts gnawing on her arm, you are just gonna look at her and be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
It was, but what was going on? And I know this is hard because you're talking about real life versus a movie, and it's always hard to. But with as gnarly as his arm was, and he starts eating it. Like if someone starts doing that, there is something wrong beyond
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, it's.
Okay,
Hey, but that was cool though. That was
That was
a
the
good
first interesting
part.
thing in the movie. Yes,
but what
I
choice
agree.
did you what choice do you make at that point? You don't have a
Lock him in the room and run away?
lock him in a room when you just watched him practically barrel through the gated front door. You think a 6-panel interior door is going to hold that guy in?
6-panel ranch door.
Also,
Yeah,
Kevin,
I just
all-
think it's weird choices.
All
man.
she cares about is the files and the paper clips and staplers back at the office.
TPS
man.
reports.
She's got to learn to love her daughter. I think another
I
problem
thought
is
she
that
was his daughter in the previews. I thought
did
it was
too.
him and his 2 kids. I think that's ridiculous. She's 30 right now. Probably at filming, she was probably 28 or 29. I don't know how old Christopher
Old
Abbott
enough to be in Madam Web.
And then that kid, right? And then that kid was how old?
Craven.
6,
He
7?
was in Craven.
No, he
I
was.
don't know.
Oh, Craven. Sorry. Yes, you're right.
I
You're
don't
right.
buy- I
Don't
ju-
mess up Sonyverse lore. Thank you
I
very
don't know.
much.
I think Julia Gardner's miscast. I don't buy her as like this, career adult woman with an 8-year-old with him. I don't know. It just she
Here's
was
the-
trying
this-
to play up, and it didn't work for me
This-
at all.
So the original movie, again, it's not based on the transformation in 1931 was groundbreaking. Like nobody had ever seen a transformation like that in 1931. But the story is Larry Talbot comes back to his home because his brother has died, reconnects with his dad, falls in love with this woman, and then in the process of him reconnecting with all this stuff, he's attacked. So he is a sympathetic, like the whole premise of that is Larry Talbot didn't want this isn't what he wanted to happen. Like he had a he's like an actor in the United States. So there is sympathy involved. Spoilers for the Wolfman from 1931. He ends up being 1941. He ends up being killed by his father. Like Claude Rains plays his dad, and ends up the only
they turned that on its head.
So
the twist is even better than I freaking thought.
Well, I think that is why I enjoyed this. Like we talk about how he took the Invisible Man and modernized it, but took some of the stuff from the original one and integrated it. I think he does that really well here. I think our main character, I don't remember his name, but I never remember names, he's raised by this, isolationist, survivalist dad, doesn't have a very good childhood. That has affected him as an adult.
It's trauma, generational trauma.
Well,
every movie has to be about trauma.
But I guess
I think the Wolfman does have some trauma involved in it.
I think if it were good, I wouldn't mind it as much. But
I do think I have heard a lot of people complain that horror movies are all about trauma now, but I kind of feel like they always have been forever.
Yeah.
But
It depends on the movie.
I think in this movie,
I don't think there's any trauma in Friday the 13th. Part
you're
6.
the death of a child. I mean,
Part 6.
But I do think there's a thing too where horror has
small
gotten
town.
horror. We've talked about horror. Okay, here's the thing. I think we see so many movies, and I'm not saying there can't be different kinds. I know what the response is going to be, but man, give me a movie like Heretic that you can just that has so much meat on the bone to think about. Give me a movie like The Substance. Give me a movie like I wanted to say Sing 2, not Sing 2. What's the Smile. Give me a movie like Smile 2, which is more of like a straightforward, like scary horror gore movie.
Yeah, but there's a lot of trauma in that.
I know, but
you're saying you're mad they don't make movies like Heretic anymore? I kind of feel like that.
But we are seeing so many great horror movies, and they're all different kinds of horror, but they all have been so good that I think you go to this movie. And I think by comparison, and of course with the pedigree, it's so disappointing. I just don't think there was much to it. I think it took 30, 40 minutes to even get to anything semi-interesting. And then, you see a couple of scenes.
I think that scene in the deer blind with the dad and the dad and the son, I think it's really, I like that a lot because I like they're up in this deer blind and there's this thing. They give us this idea in the beginning where they're saying that there's like this disease that exists where if you're infected, you start to, like Tom said, you start to get like wolf face.
Yeah, they're turning the Wolfman into, instead of being like a supernatural thing, they're turning it into a real world, this is a disease. And I think this is a personal movie for Lee Winnell. He did have a family member that turned into a Wolfman, so I can appreciate that. But no, he's writing it because of the isolation of COVID, and he's drawing from recent experiences.
He also
and people
had a loved one, I think, who had ALS, and that this is
so we saw people deteriorate,
losing control of your own body.
So I can appreciate that. This is a personal story. He's the writer director, he wrote it with his wife as well. So if this is the movie he wants to make, fine, but I just wish it weren't called Wolfman. I wish it were called
Gross guy.
The scary growth. Yeah, exactly. Because I think when we see Wolfman and we think Universal Monster, we're thinking of a transformation or a hair. I know, Joe, I'm not saying it has to be, but a hair on him, like you're transforming into a wolf.
He had some like puby little wispies on his chin.
And I will say the makeup, while it doesn't have as much hair, the facial prosthetics do resemble Lon Chaney in the Wolfman.
Halloween Horror Nights, yes. That was accurate.
I cannot that character model wasn't even, I didn't even see it. Like what a weird that was a weird thing to put out.
But it was closer than we thought. We were like, oh, maybe that's mid transformation. No, pretty much that's what a Wolfman looks like in this, just a gross guy. It looks like a goblin.
I think the problem that they were struggling with is that they're trying to do a more grounded Wolfman, right?
Yeah.
And that if he turns into just
full wolf,
obviously a Wolfman, then her choices make even less sense, right? Because you're like, at that point, you're like, that's a Wolfman, and I need to behave accordingly. But instead, it's like he's making weird noises. I really liked the thing where they would shift perspectives.
I loved
Is
that.
how they
I
couldn't
loved
understand each
that.
other. I thought that was really good.
That was an interesting idea.
Yeah, I like that part a lot. But yeah, I think if they made him a full on wolf looking creature, then
Yeah.
then you don't. This character knows exactly what kind of movie she's in, and
Mhm.
and isn't going to try to help him anymore. And I think that
Yeah.
The humanity still shines
They
through a
left
little
they
bit.
left enough humanity in him where you could see she's trying to fight. Doesn't want to hurt him because there's still
Yeah.
something there. But to Tom's point, I think he's absolutely right. I think if he goes full Wolfman,
never go full wolf.
then you're just kind of like you never go full
Yeah.
Wolfman.
But I love chamber pieces, and I think of a movie like even more recently
love
that was
chamber
fun. Not my.
pops.
Oh well,
That's gross.
at your age, I
Yeah.
mean, it does save you from yeah.
I got one right
but
over here.
but think about a movie like well, I was gonna say Abigail, but like even Ready or Not, or movies that take place in a small place, when the writing is so good and the characters are interesting, likable, funny, you can stay in one location. I love chamber pieces that are like they could be stage plays that the writing is so good, and I felt like these characters were so bland that I couldn't get into that, and now you're just stuck with them kind of doing the same thing. Oh, something's wrong with him. Oh, something's wrong with him. Oh, it's scary. What's happening to him? And there just wasn't much going on that, and when they get to the practical effects, yeah, his arm being like all open and gnarly, that was cool looking. And then gnawing his leg off kind of thing. There was some stuff that was cool practical effects wise, but I don't know, there wasn't enough, I didn't think, to keep it exciting for a horror movie about a guy turning into Wolfman.
Well, I think also it's more about being stuck. It's also, I mean, COVID, I think, definitely played a part in this, of them just being stuck out in this house. Like, there's nothing around. They can't, when they try to get the truck started, and then that goes to.
Do you think this is like watching Godzilla if you had just survived World War II and you were like, oh, maybe I don't want to watch a Godzilla movie? like seriously, like I feel like I don't want to watch a COVID movie. I'm done with that.
I see what you're
I want to
saying.
forget that. I don't want them to keep making movies about experiences with COVID. I'm ready to move forward. That's not enjoyable to me in the slightest.
I don't feel. I mean, I guess for me, I feel like the idea of being isolated like that, because I wasn't. I had a family.
He
right?
was having
people,
parties. He was
Yeah, we were
going
having
out.
COVID parties.
Wasn't
It
really
was a
like
good time,
that.
Joe.
It was
Yeah.
great. It was so
Yeah.
much fun. So like I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
I was in a house with 3 other people. So I can understand if somebody was like, man, I was by myself for months on end. So I could see that point where you don't want to go through all that again. But to me, like this, I think I love the idea of them being stuck in the house and then this creature like circling the house while they think they've got a handle on it. Now you've got, not only do you have this creature circling the outside of the house, now you've got your loved one on the inside of the house who is showing signs of something else being wrong. So you can't get out and you can't stay in. So you have to figure out where this is going to go. I will say the one thing I didn't like
plot-wise though, Joe, to get to the house, 45 minutes in or whatever, once we actually get to his dad's estate that he's like trying to clean up because his dad's been declared dead. Spoilers. Well, I think Matt already spoiled it, but the dad goes missing and he's finally declared dead. So they're also having marital problems. So the two of them are not doing great. And he says, well, I think what would help would be, let's go to this remote cabin in this house out in the woods of Oregon, leave your job that you're in, into for 3 months at a time.
He didn't say leave your job. He said you could do it remotely. So it's like,
because clearly this place
without any
has
internet
Wi-Fi.
or power.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
there's no
when
power
it is.
grid, but it's got good
I
internet.
did.
They're
I agree
running
with you.
this
When-
house literally on the generator
On a
from
generator.
Green
Yeah.
Acres. Like,
Yeah, so they're lighting a greenhouse, they're lighting a barn, they're lighting a whole house on a little generator. And
Yeah, and you're
who's
going to tell me
filling
that
with
the
gas.
you're going to tell me that the isolationist dad had fiber
Yeah.
attached to that. So I agree. I 100% agree with you, Kevin. Is when he was like, let's just go out there for the summer, and I understand like trying to reconnect and rekindle this this family, but when they do get out there, I was like, Well,
And then they're like,
There's no
you know,
internet, man.
There's
Like,
no
how
cell
are you gonna-
service. There's no internet. There's no. Oh, by the way, there's no power. I hope you like writing by candlelight.
well, they
He
had
would have
power,
had
but
to
it was
have
all
known that, right? He knows his.
He knew that.
He
yeah.
knows
He
his
had
dad
to
is
have
a
known
nut
that.
job.
yeah,
And
right.
So yeah,
It-
that will save your marriage. She'll be real happy with
but
you.
the problem-
when she gets out there and can't do any work.
But the problem with that
He
is
didn't even know how to
is
get
that
there.
it's not a plot point, right? Like it's not like, oh, he was tricking her into getting out there. Like they really were just like, oh no, we can make this work. Okay, it was just a it was just a plot device to get them there, you know.
That's
Yeah.
my kind of thing with the. I feel like the themes set up in the beginning, right? That he has these issues with his dad. His dad was kind of this gruff guy, but then as soon as we see him as an adult, it seems like he's kind of dealt with all of that. He's a great dad. What?
Well, he does have that moment when she's like walking across the thing and he freaks out and
But
he
also,
but
it's
he
like you don't want
apologizes.
you don't want your kid to fall into
They-
the street and get by a car. Like that's
I-
not that bad.
You know.
I mean, I get. Is that what that moment was supposed to be?
That-
I
that's what it was
guess.
supposed
This is what
to
it's supposed to be.
But like,
also, like having that moment, that's also called being a parent.
yeah,
like,
Yeah,
you're-
right.
He
She's
got
like-
he got over it very quickly,
Mhm.
and then right. I don't know. I kept feeling like he was going to have these things to deal with, or that's what they wanted me to think. But he never got a chance. He got turned into a werewolf
Right,
and
then
died.
he's being for all intents and purposes a pretty great wolf dad. Like
Right.
he's protecting them. Like there was never any character growth for him. I mean, because yeah, he dealt with that tiny little bit of maybe my dad's making me angry when my kid almost gets hit by a car, and then there's really no redemption because
Well,
he is a good dad.
And then even
There's no-
his dad didn't. I mean, he was doing things maybe the wrong way, but
he was trying to protect him.
He was trying to
Yeah.
protect him, and there was a Wolfman out there.
Yeah, that's also true. Right.
So like,
That's
then-
why I think this idea is half baked. Like there's a
then-
good idea in there,
Yeah.
but it did not come together well at all.
because then he kills his dad. They show the tattoo. There's and like I don't know what we're supposed to think right there. Like, okay, that's his dad. Whatever.
Well,
I-
okay, so we should say that like in the beginning of this movie, the dad and the son are out hunting, and we know that there is a hiker. So I guess the flashback takes place in 1995, and there is a hiker that has gone missing, and nobody can find him.
Yeah.
So while the dad and our main characters as a boy were out hunting, the boy kind of breaks off so he can get a better shot at this deer to impress his dad. And in that him breaking away, he ends up stumbling into this part of the forest where this other Wolfman, which is kind of how the original movie is Lon Chaney Jr., who plays Larry Talbot, ends up trying to save a woman from a wolf attack, and in the process of that gets bitten by the wolf. So we see this thing, and that I will say, I kind of wish we didn't see it, because I think they did a really good job of hiding the Wolfman for the most part. Like there's the scene where the son is looking through the scope, and we see just the silhouette,
Yeah, it's Jaws. That's what this movie is. Jaws, essentially,
which is fine.
Yeah.
I think doing an
Jaws
interpretation
is
of
a shark, though, right?
yeah, it's in the
Yeah,
ocean.
It's a
Okay,
shark
okay,
man.
That's, yeah,
It's a shark.
that's-
Man.
Okay.
It's a shark man.
This is Wolf Jaws.
It's Moose Jaws.
Yeah.
Wolf knuckle.
So I like, and there's another scene where our characters are running through the forest, or running through like the clearing, and you see the Wolfman running behind them, but you can't see it. And I think that is scarier. Again, we've said it a million times. Is anything that I can think, you're not gonna. No, there's nothing that a practical artist is gonna come up with that's gonna be scarier than what I can imagine.
Not on this set.
Yeah, right, exactly. Or this budget.
Yeah.
I think you do see when they're looking through the scope, right? You see the Wolfman's leg at that part, and it looks very hairy. So if given enough
they
time,
both looked hairy. Their faces weren't, and I think they grow more hair as they progress in the disease.
we
It didn't
gotta
look
get a
that
sequel.
hairy. Yeah, yeah, it's the only solution. So
Just
so
wait until they
basically-
cross it over, and we get Dr. Jekyll to show up to merge everything
I
together.
think the big mistake was
So-
taking on Gillette as a sponsor.
Yeah,
They were like,
Now Harry's
less hair.
That's different.
less hair.
yeah. So he's driving to his dad's place. He picks up a guy that's up in the deer stand. That
That's
come to
I
find.
like that scene too, because all you see is the silhouette of the guy, and
that
I
guy
thought
was
it was
good. See, that guy was creepy. That was a good.
I thought it was
liked
going to be
Now,
kind of like
I
a
felt-
scarecrow thing, and then when he moved, I was like, oh,
The silhouette was creepy, but
I thought, yeah.
as soon as they start doing this, like, is this guy a creepy guy? I was like, well, I think it's a movie about like a Wolfman, so I don't really think we
Yeah,
gotta
but who's
worry.
the real monster? Matt?
that's right.
I
But
think
I
it's
also
the
think
Wolfman in this case because
It's in the title.
well, because
He's
or
the
I
lead character.
I thought this was going to be one of those guys that's like, oh, we think he's creepy, but then later in the movie he's gonna pop in and like shoot the Wolfman and oh, creepy guy wasn't so bad. But he's dealt with so quick. It's like, well, why didn't you fake us out at all?
So they're driving to his dad's house. There is the Wolfman in the middle of the road. He swerves to avoid him. The rental truck crashes. It goes into the tree, kind of like a Jurassic Park thing. And then other dude falls out of the car.
I will say
Onto
that
the
was
ground.
a good shot.
kind of hard. What's that?
That was a good
Tom?
shot when the guy falls out of
Yeah.
when he opens
It
the
was.
passenger door and just falls. Like, I was like, oh.
But also, like, the other thing that was kind of frustrating to me was Wolfman can jump up, break through a window, swipe our main character's arm, all in the same thing. And then they're sitting on a greenhouse, and Wolfman's like, ugh, I might get you. Oh, he did some pretty big damage jumping up and hitting through a window in the truck. Like, that thing was up pretty high.
yeah,
so
and that takes
I didn't
it.
think the
It
powers.
takes it out of a wolf, Kevin. Like,
Yeah, it's
Oh,
all.
he had-
It's,
he-
yeah, this is all one night, Kevin.
Oh,
you
okay.
know.
He didn't get his nap in.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
got
guess
he's
it.
not a
little
young
sleepy
wolf.
Yeah. Oh, also, have you ever seen a person open a front door with two sets of keys faster?
They were trucking.
They are running
They were
away
trucking.
from a forest, full speed, exhausted, to the front door, and that Wolfman is like 10 feet away from them, and he is
It was-
able
yeah,
to
the dad did
open
it, yeah.
the storm door lock and the front door lock. I mean, I can't open my front door without fumbling around more than they did after being chased by a Wolfman through the forest, and he got two sets open in that amount of time. I just
they
thought
were
that
in.
was crazy.
They
He
were
hasn't
in.
been there since he was a kid, and he found the right keys, opened them that quick. I just thought it was dumb. Like,
I thought
stuff
it
like
was-
He
it
that.
was
got there.
funny
It's
that
muscle
he-
memory.
It's why you label your keys.
Yeah.
I like where to that point, Kevin, is where the guy's like, he's like, oh, I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah.
You're so and so, and he was just like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I'm so and so's kid. And he was like, all right, don't know what that means, but and I'm just kind of like, and that's
Oh, yeah.
I kind of that's a good reminder that it sounds like the dad just blocked them off from everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like if these guys both look they're about the same age, so you would assume that they would have hung out together as kids. But if the dad was like, nope, you're gonna we're staying in this house, we're staying on this property, it does kind of make the dad a little bit more intense if he's not even letting his son play with other kids.
Did you think that to kill the Wolfman, they were going to have to feed him like death cap mushroom stew?
Did
There was definitely
that was an
when they
interesting
brought that
call
up,
out
I was
to
like,
that, yeah.
it's absolutely going to come back,
Yeah.
and then it never does.
Chekhov's mushroom.
Yeah.
Chekhov's red
That is
herring.
pretty funny. Yeah, right.
In the original one,
Joe, real quick,
think,
I figured out why you can't remember the main character's name.
why?
It's Blake.
You're right. It is Blake. R.I.P. But he's still, for the record, Blake's still alive. We just
I was like,
dead to the show, dead,
Not
dead
the
from,
character.
dead from the show. So they end up getting in the house, and he takes a look at his arm, and it looks like it's no big deal, but almost immediately he's starting to show
Wolfify.
signs of something. Yeah, Wolfify. Where he can I like the scene with the spider. Like the spider's crawling up the wall.
Why?
and
Why don't they explain why that spider was so heavy?
it wasn't heavy there, Maddie.
Huh?
So-
No, yeah, it's going boom, boom, boom. I'm like, what is this?
It's because his hearing was so
I
good.
can't believe I have to explain this to you, Matt. Wolfman's part of the Sonyverse.
There is Werewolf by Night.
yes!
There is a character, Werewolf by Night, that is a Spider-Man
As soon
character.
as I saw the
So
spider,
that You're telling me that was Heavy Spider?
That was
okay,
Peter
My
Parker.
favorite character?
So we've established that a Wolfman has supersonic hearing, right? And okay, I think that's interesting that he has this ability, and now we know that. Okay, so they're fumbling around trying to start the car, and she's slamming doors and putting batteries in and cranking the engine. They have supersonic hearing, but it takes them that long to deduce that they're at the car.
Depending on
Like,
where he is on the farm.
Yeah, not a young
does he
wolf.
retreat?
Not a young wolf.
Does he retreat 3 miles into the forest to get a snack?
Wasn't he,
I mean,
wasn't
he's
he
been around
chasing
them
an
at the
animal?
house.
Am I wrong about that? Wasn't he chasing somebody into the forest? Right?
I don't remember that. I just thought it was kind of weird that we've established
doesn't the
supersonic
dad
hearing.
kind of like take off and make the other Wolfman
No,
this is also
That's a
this is one of the
different
biggest
part.
It's a
complaints.
different part.
Oh, okay.
He's stalking them at the house, but like somehow he's retreated enough to where they're making all this noise at the car. And I know sometimes
'Cause
he's trying to be quiet,
the-
but they have supersonic hearing.
She's putting him in the car. The dad's
Yeah,
in the
You're
truck
right.
He's in the
already.
back
He's in
seat
the,
of
he's
the-
in the
Which
back
I
seat of the
will
car.
say is a problem with this movie, like Kevin said, that it does kind of just repeat similar scenarios over and over and over.
It's one trick. Okay,
But when you see the like Rosencrantz and Gilden, the Lion King 1.5 version of this, you'll see that he was like busy.
oh yeah,
He was doing something.
Yeah, he's doing
Okay.
something. He's got a life, Kevin.
yeah.
He's got stuff to do.
I have to say, in going to the budget thing, which is why I thought this was limited by budget, the first time, because we're jazzing it the whole time, you don't see anything. They're at the house. It's creepy. We're scared. We don't know what it looks like. There's just a silhouette of a guy walking out past the windows. When he grabs that hand through the door to grab the main character's leg, that looked like something out of a haunted house. That looked so cheap, like someone with a wolf arm costume or whatever. Like, it just looked so cheesy to me.
I guess maybe because I've seen so many werewolf movies of varying qualities, right? On the top of the end, you've got The Howling and American Werewolf in London. On the low end, on the middle end, you've got Silver Bullet, which I think is a lot of fun. I love Silver Bullet.
I think Benicio del Toro Wolfman is 1,000 times better
Okay.
in this movie.
Okay. Boring.
That's
1,000
That was
times.
great. Look
it
good.
would.
But yeah, look at how good the effects and the atmosphere, and I mean when you
But that's the same guy that did American Werewolf in London. Rick Baker did the makeup
Okay.
for both of those movies.
you-
He also did the preliminary makeup for The Howling, and ended up leaving The Howling to do an American Werewolf in London. And I think, man, people are gonna come for my head. I think it's Bottin. Rob Bottin may have picked up
I don't know.
because I think he also did The Thing.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think.
But
And
I
this
think
has a lot. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, just another kind of problem I have with this movie, or like, is that so if you get scratched by the Wolfman, you become a Wolfman, and pretty soon into the movie, right, we realize Blake is not coming back from this.
No.
I feel like in a movie, once your teeth fall out, or like once there's like damage done to a character that couldn't be healed, you know.
Yeah.
But we kind of know that wife and daughter aren't getting even hurt.
That's the other thing, Matt. Never for a second did I think, like, the stakes felt so low because I never for a second thought the wife and daughter were going to be
They
harmed.
can't, right? They can't even be scratched by the wolf. I mean, I guess they could be like knocked into something, but if they get scratched, they're a wolfman and they're done for. So I don't know. It just makes it kind of low.
Yeah, it's very low stakes. Like,
It's-
I can't be invested in the kid. One, I don't like them, but two, I'm not worried about them. They're running away, and I'm like, well, nothing's going to happen to them. So
You're not
what-
wrong. I was trying to think of what you were saying,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think Lee Winnell kind of has a track record of taking characters. You know, like I think about that scene in The Invisible Man when Elizabeth Moss goes to have dinner with her sister, and you're like, oh, it's just dinner. You know, she's gonna believe her, and then all of a sudden, the sister's like, her throat is slit out of nowhere.
yeah.
And you're like, what's happening?
I
So good.
feel
I
like that
did-
movie did have just a PG vibe too, though.
It did have a different vibe.
This
I
set,
agree.
obviously, it's not like a family. Well, it's a movie about a family, but it's not like a PG horror movie. But it still had that sense from the beginning that like this mom ain't dying. They're not going to leave this kid alone at the end
Yeah.
of the
I
movie.
don't know. I didn't know that going in because I
You
do
didn't
know
finish
that
the movie?
No, I got up and left.
Well,
Because I do think Lee Winnell kind of has a track record of even in
I agree. I mean, typically, yeah.
Insidious 2? No, Insidious 1. I mean, they kill Lin Shaye. Spoilers for Insidious 1. They kill Lin Shaye, but then they find a way to keep bringing her back through all of them. They keep bringing her back. So, like, he does have a history of killing off important secondary characters. Did I think it was going to be the daughter? No. Did I think it was an absolute possibility that they kill off the mom? I thought it was 100% possible.
I
And
think
then they leave
gave
it up to the
I-
daughter.
I
Given
think
the way this movie starts, right, with the son in the blind, cowering in the corner, we know that we're back on the farm. I did think there was a chance that we're going to get the exact same scene with. And here's the thing: they don't have to turn the mom into a werewolf. He could just kill her.
oh, sure. Right.
And take her off the board, and then this daughter is left to defend herself against her dad, who is, I thought for sure we would get, and we did kind of get that scene just with an extra character. Spoilers for the end of this movie. So I did think it was possible that we lose the mom somehow.
I don't know. I never. I
It
didn't
just never
feel it.
seemed like that type of movie. So it's hard when you feel like there's no stakes that
There
you-
weren't
to
enough
really get-
characters in the movie for the wolf.
Yeah.
man
That is fair.
To be wolfy.
Yeah.
And I guess I feel like it goes back to what I feel like he was trying to pull from the original one is, yes, there are kills in the original one. Bela Lugosi is actually in that as the original Wolfman. It's not based on the kills. And I do think that Lee Winnell was probably trying to... He knew that he had to put some gore in there, right? He knew that needed to happen. But I did feel like he was attempting, and I feel like he succeeded in it. I think I'm the only one that feels that way.
Do you think the
In-
bear trap was like an homage to Saw?
I didn't think about that till you just
Just
said that.
because, I mean,
Oh,
But
you know
he
what?
famously
though?
wrote Saw. So
I did think that was a scary. The idea that they were like hiding in the dark in the barn, the mom
That's
and daughter.
so good. That's such a great scene.
And
he
they're-
could see them.
And then when you see from his perspective, he can just totally no problem see them. That was, I guess,
I like the wolf
individual scary scenes are pretty good.
I liked the dog vision thing, but like
wolf
I
vision,
didn't. I,
Kevin. He's a wolf.
Yep, but dogs see with blue, and it's like very much like I
They're
get how they're trying
colorblind,
to.
right?
Again,
Yeah.
they're like it's very sciencey. Like again, if this were a real world thing, like how would his abilities change and all that? But I just like the 10th time, I was like, okay, you have an Adobe Premiere filter, cool. Like I just it was a neat idea, but like they kept doing it and kept doing it. I'm like, I get it, like cool.
I think what would have been cooler, honestly, and they kind of did this, is you start at like
if
a
they,
zero.
if you look through his eyes and they were big like cooked turkeys.
yes. If this was a Looney Tunes movie, that would
just
be
like
so much
shaking
better.
shaking their arms or whatever. If it had been a progression instead of kind of going right to it.
Yeah, if it wasn't the same thing every time, because like we get it, he can't hear her. And again, if you were invested in these characters, that might be more sad. And you're like, oh my god, that's heartbreaking. So I didn't get that out of it. So I'm like, I get it. Come on, move on. But they just kept showing he can't understand. And
What I
you
think
know,
would have been kind of cool is if they had moments where they're talking to him and it cuts in and out. And he's just like, "What are you like? What do you mean? What are you saying?
Well,
like, what do you
do
know? What
that
is this?"
though? Like, because like the daughter kind of breaks through, right?
Yeah, so which is a callback
sure.
to the thing in the beginning where like he's like, put your hand on my head, what am I thinking? And it's I love my daughter, and that's a through line. But yeah, it's like, is that supposed to be a literal, like was she literally able to understand him?
No,
Or
I think
that
it was
more
a
of
game. I think it was a game.
I know, but in the end, he understood her, right? Like, was that just him kind of imagining it because they have that connection, that callback, or literally did the power of love break through and
It
she
was-
could understand
It
him?
was the power
in the
of love.
original.
It was the power.
Yeah,
of
Oh,
love.
Huey
the
Lewis.
power
Yeah,
of
they
love.
couldn't afford Huey Lewis, so
So-
they whatever.
Beautiful thing.
In the original one, I think I'm almost positive part of the lore is that the Wolfman could only be killed by someone that loves him. So, like in the 41 one, it's his dad. Like it's his dad that kills him. In I think in the Benicio del Toro one, it is not the dad, that's the worst part of that whole movie, is the stupid werewolf fight at the end.
That's maybe my least favorite part of this too. They fight.
I didn't like it in this.
I feel like they do a couple cool like animalistic things, but most of it just seems like two guys fighting in a way.
I don't like the werewolf fight.
Yeah.
So I do think that there's something that he was trying to call back to that, where the two people that have to kill him are the two people that love him the most.
Mm-hmm. So he ends up killing his dad. Spoilers again for what we've spoiled many times.
So are we to assume that means the dad found the other guy and was attacked?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the dad disappears. He went off into the woods and never returned, is what we've heard. And so clearly he got attacked, got turned into a Wolfman. But what I would have thought would be interesting is if there were more than one Wolfman running around, like not the main character, Christopher Abbott,
what do you call
like
it?
all the people he's transformed, and now they're a pack or
Right.
something. I think the surprise should have been that, like, oh, the original's there because he transformed the dad. The dad's there, and then you could have this whole other thing with family that, like, I don't know, maybe there could have been some reveal that they're not that bad, just like he and his family weren't that bad. Like maybe they were.
Did you see you see the remake of Pet Sematary?
I never watched that one. I don't.
Did you
think.
watch the original one?
A long time ago, yeah.
Okay. So the ending of that movie, of the remake, is Gage, who is the...
Oh, I think we did. The kid
We
gets
covered
killed by
it.
a truck, right?
So in the original one, yes, Gage is hit by a truck. The dad buries him in the pet cemetery, brings him back, and Gage is not Gage. In the remake, they kill the... Spoilers for the remake. They kill the daughter.
That was the thing that...
Which
yeah,
is
people
so
just-
stupid because it's a twist based on having seen the original movie.
Or read the book.
But it's stupid because the boy is running out there like he does in the original, and you're
Yeah.
like, here it comes, but then it misses him and kills the daughter.
No.
Or what?
The
But-
dad catches Gage,
Right.
and you're
But
just like, oh, but he
I'm
does
just
not
saying,
catch
like,
the daughter.
that's such a, like, you have to see the original movie to even know that that's even a
But
thing.
no, you don't.
I
That's an Easter egg. You don't have to see it if you just watch it on its own. It's like, wow.
You
And
think
also
people
there's-
don't know that Gage is the one that gets hit by the truck?
I think
feel like
there
that's
are
pretty iconic.
millions and millions of people in this world, and
We
movies.
can't ask
No,
Tom
sure.
because he probably owns the first edition of Pet Cemetery.
I mean, I read the
But
book.
I mean, I didn't.
It's the way it's played in the movie. I agree that could have been done in it, but it's just very like winking. The way it's like
you
shot.
know,
Well,
because you know,
what they said is they knew that they could get a better performance out of the older actress, right? The older girl could give a better performance than trying to wrangle a 2-year-old to do
Sure.
what that kid did.
Yeah.
But at the end
But
of that movie is Gage is the only, like, the zombie. They're all dead. The daughter, the mom, the dad, they're all dead, and they're standing outside of a car where Gage, this 2-year-old, has locked himself inside the car. So you get like this zombie family that is about to like unleash whatever is going to happen. So to go back to like your second family in this, where you've got like a pack of wolf men or wolf people, it does seem a little derivative, I guess, of that ending of Pet Sematary that nobody saw. I don't think that did very well.
So he kills the dad in this Wolfman fight. He actually like bites him in the neck, like
Yeah,
gnaws on his
chews
neck,
his
which
neck
is,
off.
I mean, that's a pretty gnarly kill. I'll give him that. I mean, cool. He saved it. Basically, the whole thing is like the dad is transforming into the Wolfman, but he still wants to protect them, and like he's still trying to take care of them, which is this through line of like, I will always protect you. I mean, it's like one of the first lines in the movie. What is my job? To protect my girls or whatever.
Right,
so it's
right.
like a through line the whole time. So by the end of the movie, he kills the dad, but like he is obviously not doing well. He's getting worse and worse and worse throughout the movie. And then basically it comes down to the point where like he's just, I mean, he's gone. He's going to be completely gone. And so they end up running away.
So they're
from
running.
him, right?
They
into the deer stand.
They run back to the truck, and they end up finding the Kyle or whoever the other guy was. They find the gear that he had,
The
had
gun
with
and
him.
this
They find the
pack
gun, and then we end up back at the deer blind from the beginning of this movie. And this is an effect that I thought was really cool. Is when the Wolfman in the beginning and the end is you see basically the heat radiating off of their body.
That was cool. I liked that.
I like that a lot.
Opening scene,
and you can the Wolfman kind of moves behind. In the beginning, he moves behind. When the dad and the son are looking at one way, we realize the Wolfman has moved behind them.
I liked that in the beginning, and I thought that was really creepy and could have led to a really scary kill. I just don't like that the Wolfman was in front of him. He sees that, and then you cut the camera to the other way, and you're looking at the dad, and the steam's rising behind him, and then he just goes. And I'm like,
well,
that could have been really
he hears
effective. He hears a deer and
he hears the
chases it or
deer and
something?
goes after
Yeah.
the deer.
I don't
which
know. I
is
just
the
thought,
easier
I'm
kill.
like, man, that's a creepy kill, though. If you're like, oh, he's right behind you, and then he takes him out or something. But it's a
Right.
cool effect. I do like that. But he basically comes up, he's trying to bang the door down on the front of this stand and goes in there, and the mom is pointing the gun at him, and the daughter is basically like, Daddy wants
he
to be
pulls
done.
himself up over the door.
Over it, okay.
Yeah, and
but
he's
she's
just
like,
standing there.
He's done. He wants this to be over, which is a touching. Again, if you care about these characters, I do think that's a kind of like a heartbreaking moment. But she's like, basically, let him be at peace. He does not want to be a wolf man.
He's got enough.
He's
Got enough humanity left that he's saying, "Shoot me in the face, please."
And she can read his mind. That's
Correct.
established. She's
Yeah,
It's very established. And so she does. They shoot him. He falls off the deer stand, and they have this moment. And this
Isn't that easy to kill a wolf man? That's the only thing with their
So here's
super
the
strength
thing,
and
is-
gnawing their legs off. I'm just like, you can just shoot him and he's gone.
Well, we don't know what. Right. So, Silver.
Right.
No,
There's
kick
rules,
him in the
usually.
nards.
Nards, yeah.
And I think that's.
There's no rules in this movie.
There are no
though, right?
rules.
Like, that's
We
the
don't
thing
know
is
what the
yeah.
rules are.
I think he's
They've
just
abandoned classic monster stuff, so
he's
he's
just
I mean,
sick. I mean, he's just a sick guy.
just
right?
They've
like,
done
yeah.
that a couple times, like in The Howling, and I think in Silver Bullet, they get rid of the whole. They can only transform in the moonlight. Like I think in both of those movies, they say like they've got such control over the transformation that they can do it whenever they want. I think they do that in Underworld too. Like as well.
When Christopher Abbott's nails break off and
was
sharp
gross.
nails, that was one of the cooler looking things.
Yeah.
But I think also, don't have him transform because we don't have to pay for him to constantly go back and forth.
Right.
That's true. That's actually kind of smart though. Like if we can't afford to have him changing back and forth, let's just make this get progressive. And
That's what I'm saying. And I know what Tom's saying. We know these filmmakers, you can make a really good movie on a smaller budget. But I think if you do go effects heavy, though, it just adds to more complications to, that much more practical effects all the time.
Well, they don't
and-
really need to
Especially
have
if
them
he's changing
transform
back
back
and
if they went with the. I mean, it all takes place in a night. Like,
Yeah.
so even if they were doing the traditional, moonlight thing.
Oh, sure.
it
I see what
wouldn't
you're saying.
matter.
He could
It's
just
all-
go back to.
The whole movie
But
takes
I
place.
do
The
like-
bulk of the movie takes
Yeah.
place over a 6-hour period.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do like in traditional werewolf stuff though, that I think adds to a more complex story where if the guy transforms back, then you're like, oh, that's the guy that we love. And I know they were trying to like have that shine through a little
Yeah.
bit and like the humanity's still there. But I do like that conflict where if he transforms back and then you're like, oh, maybe he is okay. Maybe we can save him. And then, all of a sudden he turns
this
again.
this ending is very much The Fly. Like it's David Cronenberg's The Fly, where Gina Davis is kind of like looking at what's left of Jeff Goldblum, and she's like, I'm just gonna shoot his brains out, and like legitimately blows his brains all over the place. If you haven't seen The Fly, cannot recommend that enough.
This is
also
definitely more of a like body horror
Yeah.
movie than like a werewolf
yes,
movie.
yeah, and I think the werewolf. Oh, we lost Tom. I think the idea of the Wolfman is very much be body horror.
Mhm.
I think that the transformation sequence in American Werewolf in London,
Right.
David Naughton plays that in such a way where he is not comfortable.
I guess most of them you get that the transformation is like this body horror segment, and then the rest of it's almost like monster slasher.
Yeah,
but,
right.
But this one stays pretty firmly in like this
He's
guy's
just
gross.
getting worse. It's
Yeah.
getting worse and worse and worse. But I did like that when there's a scene we talked about in the barn where is it Julia Carpenter? Is that her name?
Yeah.
She kind of lays a trap for her husband, and he gets his leg caught in a
Julia Garner.
Garner. Sorry. Okay. gets his leg caught in a bear trap, and he has to chew his own leg off. And I did think that was a fun way to get him to run like a wolf.
But also, again, in this realistic, grounded world of realistic wolfmen, you chew your leg off, and without a tourniquet, I mean, don't you bleed out?
Oh yeah, you'd be bleeding all over
your
the place.
blood would just. I mean, there was no blood coming from his foot,
Well,
so
we don't know.
he's
That
a
was done.
realistic.
We don't know.
Oh, but I just think if you gnaw your leg off, like I get that sometimes animals do that or whatever. If there's, but like I don't know. I just don't think you'd bleed out.
He
You would
didn't.
probably
He didn't
bleed
live
out.
that much longer.
That's
I-
true.
I can-
He did-
I can-
He was probably alive for like 10 more minutes.
I agree.
Maybe
with
that's what
you,
happened. He would
Kevin.
have healed if he didn't chew his leg off.
I agree with you, but I think I can. I think I can
Yeah.
go. Hey, it's a movie on that
Can ya?
particular.
Okay,
If we had 40 minutes left, I'd be going. Now, ain't that stump still bleeding?
Yeah.
It's like when
bleeding
people
all over
get
the place.
I
people
was
fall in water in movies, and then the rest of the movie, I'm like, God, their socks would be so gross.
those jeans, they'd be
Oh.
chafing.
yeah,
So heavy. So heavy.
I was more caught
Oh.
off guard by how quickly he decided to chew his leg off. Like it was instantaneous. He's like, "Guess I
Yeah.
chew my leg off." Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I would think a
Well,
real
if he's-
wolf would be a little more like, okay, hold on, let's
Let me think through this.
about
Yeah.
this.
But doesn't he have? Remember we talked about breaking through doors and stuff. Don't they have strength? And so that's why, without the rules established and without, I just don't know if there's consistency there. I thought he gets stuck in a trap, but he could just break the chain and walk around with it trapped on his foot. He could open it or break it or something. Like are they strong or are they not?
Look,
I just
Kevin,
can't
that's
tell.
the thing with generational trauma. You never break the chains.
Wow.
Ah, there it is.
That's pretty good, Tom.
why
That's
I'm
pretty
here.
good.
Like a
That's
sniper.
why you're here.
Hated this.
So
movie.
he ends up, she ends up
He's
shooting
dead.
him in the chest, and they kind of go over to him.
Suicide by wife.
And, suicide by wife. That's right. They have a moment with and he dies. So I assume that this means that traditionally it's a curse, like it's always kind of been a curse, but the disease is gone now.
Well, what I didn't
Unless
think
the
they
dad
should have
affected
done
somebody
is
else?
They got hungry and then they ate his body
Sure.
and that passed. I
Oh
thought that was
my
a bad.
God.
It's a bad
It
choice.
was a weird end credits scene, I will say.
It
That was a weird post credit
Yeah.
So
sequence.
it continues.
The post credit sequence is Hugh Jackman walks in and looks
Well,
around.
the little girl is Abigail.
and that would be insane.
We needed like a cabin fever. Like they kill him and he ends up in a creek, and then you see him
The
making
blood goes into
blood
into
and
the
the
water.
lemonade.
That's actually
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely set up the Invisible Man for a sequel, where she walks away with the suit.
I've never thought I would say I miss the Dark Universe, but I'm getting real.
No way,
close
man.
here.
No way. No
I'm
way.
getting real
This is
close.
leaps and bounds. Even if you didn't like this one, which
Mm.
is fair, I can accept the fact that you didn't like it.
Uh-huh.
This is leaps and bounds so much better than what we were going to get.
Yeah.
I actually just rewatched The Mummy, the Tom Cruise Mummy, like
Oh,
2
come
or 3
on,
months
why
ago.
would you
Jekyll,
do
Russell
that?
Crowe is.
Because sometimes you just kind of throw something on
Joe
to be
watches
in the
bad movies.
background.
Remember,
I watch
you
bad
used to
movies all the
rewatch
time.
Suicide Squad.
I did. I watched the
Like,
director's cut to see what that was like. It was just as bad.
Look how many times he's watched Monster Squad.
I got that
I know.
poster right there.
Hey, I was gonna say the only service this thing did, the only positive thing is I think it elevated Monster Squad.
Okay.
shut your
That
mouth.
Wolfman,
I know. I never thought I'd say that one.
that's
but
another really good transformation. That
Mm-hmm.
Wolfman transformation is very good.
It's definitely better than this one.
Which is
there
why
isn't a
I don't
transformation.
think the transformation issues are budgetary on this movie. I think it was an
I agree.
artistic
I think
choice.
Tom. I think you're absolutely
if
onto something.
Lee
I think you're
Winnell's
absolutely right.
he's got enough juice that if he wanted to do that, he could get the extra $5 million or whatever it would have taken. Like they chose
to go full
they
transformation.
chose to not do that.
This is Blumhouse though. $25 million on a Blumhouse. Remember,
That's a
we used to
lot
talk
of
about
money.
1 million, 5 million. We were like,
I don't
holy
even
crap.
think any of the Halloween movies got a budget like this.
Like this is a huge budget for a Blumhouse, but I just think, yeah.
And they
I
do-
don't
they-
know.
It is weird. I did think it was weird that Michael Myers is still in the Blumhouse
right, 'cause
logo.
it's
Yeah.
Universal, so I guess they just.
Or does he get like the rights in? perpetuity
I would think as long
because
as
he
they're
did
working
3 movies.
together, I would think I don't know the deal, but I saw that too. But this is still Universal, and Universal made those movies.
Sure,
I'm guessing
sure,
as
sure.
long as they are working together, there's probably an agreement where you can use our characters in your
logo.
Yeah.
Still a good logo. I do
Yeah,
like
when they
that
stop working together after this movie,
Yeah, they're like, hey, take him out.
you've lost it. You've screwed it up.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm in the minority. I thought this was a very, 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 very good reimagining of the original one.
You know what
with-
the number one movie at the box office is, right?
No.
Foster.
What is it?
Brother.
Oh,
No.
again?
Yeah.
What did this one make this weekend?
Let's see. Wolfman. Sorry. This weekend, Mufasa's estimated 16.5 million 4-day tally. I think it's in week 4. And then let's see what Wolfman was estimated. One of them days, which has almost 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, is estimated to be 14 to 15. So that's doing a lot
What's
better.
that one?
It's like a comedy,
Keke
like
Palmer
2
and-
people on
With
and
Maud
SZA.
Apatow.
and SZA. Maud Apatow.
Yeah, she's
I
in,
think Maud Apatow's
she's
in
in
that.
it as well, and it's
Oh,
produced by Issa Rae.
okay.
Oh,
But they're
okay.
like on a just crazy stuff keeps happening. They're on the run or whatever. But it's like I said, it's almost 100%. It's supposed to be pretty good. And then I'm still going down the list for a Wolfman estimate. They estimate that it will make $12 million over the 4-day.
That's a shame.
So
That
For me.
wouldn't go that far.
For me, it's a shame.
I
for
mean,
me.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Joe.
I did, man. I had a
think it's
blast at it. I thought it was-
wildly disappointing for this pedigree, and I just expected a lot more from Winnell and just more of a monster movie. And I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it turning into a zombie movie. Zombie movies are cool, but I just feel like Wolfman
And we're
isn't
getting one of those later this year, right?
right. I feel they're
Yeah.
like, we better get this out before 28 years later.
Maybe. That's very possible. And it's. I mean, unfortunately, it's going to get swallowed up because I think we've got. There's a big one next week.
Is there? I mean, this movie is
think
with the bad reviews.
Next week is
it's not
Flight
gonna,
Risk, isn't that the?
Oh, never mind.
Oh,
Take it back. Oh, it's the end of the month. Is the end of the month is Companion.
what's that?
That's the Jack Quaid.
Oh, that looks really good.
Yeah. Who's the
do
real
wanna
monster, Matt?
I do
That's,
want to see that.
That looks really good.
Yeah. So I think this is worth watching. I think I'm biased, I guess.
I had fun
Joe?
watching it, and then like on the way out
Oh.
of the theater, me and my lover are going. You know what though? I don't.
I almost downloaded Bubble Witch Saga 3 or whatever Tom plays because man, I could not. I had the worst time watching this. I was so bored.
No, I had a good
Us
time. It was
Fiends is what I play now.
Oh, okay.
But
Don't want to screw up any deals you got going on.
but no, like it's just funny how like we are the full spectrum of opinions on this movie. So
Yeah.
because
Which I got to tell you, if you've ever listened to the show, happens to us all the
Yeah.
time.
Oh
Step
yeah.
on Shape of Water, that was a piece of.
That was sucked.
Yeah.
That movie was terrible.
So well,
Can't wait for a Creature from the Black Lagoon movie,
Yeah.
a real one.
so anyway, I guess that's it for this one. Let's go around the virtual table and everyone can say where to find them.
This is Joe. You can follow me on the Twitter at JoeyButts BUTTS21 and on Letterboxd at the same.
This is Kevin. Follow me on Twitter at Kevin R. Brackett.
Hey, this is Matt, and I've been kind of having some stuff pop off on TikTok. So
Oh yeah. Follow that.
yeah, check me out. It's tiktok.com/@Matt F Basler, and I'll see you there.
We'll probably be back
On Monday.
by the time this gets edited and posted.
That's true.
And your joke will be ruined, which is how we prefer it. So, and this is Tom. You can find me on Blue Sky and Threads at Tom O'Keefe Jr. or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/Real Spoilers. While you're there, like the page, join the group, and of course, don't forget our Patreon. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, Nikki gives Todd the strength to overcome Gus.
Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, cause we already warned you.